we were just reflecting on what Plexus has done. And I said, you know what? You have to understand the priority, that Plexus is such a priority in our family's life. That's why I traveled to go do leadership excellence. That's why we don't say no when the company usually asks us to do something, because we love that we can be influential in these positions once we've reached these levels to help this legacy company. It is something that's going to give my children residual income someday when I'm gone. I firmly believe that, because I have absolute belief in this company. And being at corporate like we were, Bridget and Brittany, right, this past week, you just come away going, wow, is this for real that we're actually part of a company that's this ethical, that cares this much about us, that has its focus on legacy for us and our families, to the point where they're not afraid to remove someone from staff that is not living up to the one Plexus spirit or is not excelling in every way that they can, and they're bringing on better people all the time in leadership and in the staff. The atmosphere at corporate, didn't you guys love that? Like when you took the tour, everybody's happy, everybody's friendly. They love working there. I talked to one gal, in fact, she came in and introduced herself. Do you girls remember her name? When the team that helped put on our event came in, the girl that was there the longest, like 8 years. I chatted with her a little bit later and just kind of got an insight on why she's still with us. And if we can say that about people who work at corporate, that they love working here, their heart and soul is in it, how much more can we who are out here in the field changing lives, getting paid generously? It says so much about the company as a whole. So anyway, I love any chance I get to build y'all's belief in the company, because some of you haven't had that chance to rub shoulders like we did this past week. The girls will probably tell you more about all that. You know, Tarl and Alec would pop in the room every once in a while. Our two new presidents, Janice Jackson and Christopher Pear, came in and chatted with us for a while. They took a tour and got to go to Alec and Tarl's offices and sit there and chat with them. I mean, incredible stuff. Like Sheila Medina, our first diamond, was there to help with training. And she had been involved in another network marketing company for years and years and years. She said, you never get a chance to sit and talk with the CEO and president like that. So big deal. And you guys, Plexus gives us this training. These girls at Emerald level get to come in and get this training for free. I mean, they pay to get themselves there, and then their room is covered, and they did so many meals for us. It felt like we only had to pay for a couple meals while we were there. And then of course, all the amazing training for 3 days. So I guess I've probably yabbered about long enough, but I just want to say I am so inspired being a trainer by the girls that come in there. First of all, they love hearing some of us oldies stories that have been in the company for 5 and 6 and 7 years. And we love hearing what they are doing, the younger generation or the newer, more recent that have been in the company for a year or 2 or 3, and what their vision is and the things that they're doing. And we exchange ideas. So much of the training was a discussion, a give and take. We learned from them, they learned from us, okay? And so that's the part I loved. It was just, and there were only like 11 Emeralds this time, which was a small group compared to normally there's like, 30 or 40. And so it was really intimate and casual, and we just had a fabulous time. But I look at these girls and I listen to them. I call them my girls, our girls, and they are leaders. Like the fact that they committed to that time to come there, they are leading. And the way they soak it in, they sat there and just soaked it in. And then they would get teary-eyed. You'd see all kinds of emotion on their face while we're teaching. Guys, they love their teams. They care about you guys. And they want success for every single person on their team. And you can just see it on their faces. And so I just want you to know that you have amazing leaders. I was so blessed to have Brittany and Bridget in my class, even though at times it felt like, they're getting to know me pretty good here. They've seen how I lead. They've seen me walk the walk and talk the talk, and I'm sitting here teaching them. They'll see through through me, like areas where I maybe am not living up to what I'm teaching. You know, I'm aware of that, and but yet I love them. I know they love me. We have we genuinely care about you guys. We have no secrets. We genuinely work this business with passion and with ethics. And so it was just awesome having them there. And I just want to tell you guys again, you have amazing leaders in Brittany and Bridget. And I am really, 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 really honored that you guys asked me to come on here and unload some of that.
I'm going to unmute Brittany here. She knows how to unmute herself.
Oh, I'm unmuted now. Sorry. My kids were banging on the door. I didn't want you to hear that.
Oh my goodness. Well, I know Brittany feels the same way, but you know, when you see these 5 diamonds, you know, there's a reason why they were sent to this training to train us, because they were considered kind of like the best in the field, you guys. So how proud I was to be like, I'm on Brenda Martin's team. You know, you guys, I'm like level 7 or 8. I don't know why I always forget that number. I guess it's probably because I don't feel like I'm a number to Brenda. You guys, how crazy is that? Like, I can't remember the number because number. She has poured belief into me, and just what a rich heritage, just all of us. I know Brittany's for level 4. You guys, we are just so blessed with the uplines God has given us in this business as well. So blessed, the best of the best.
Mm-hmm.
Brittany.
Yeah, no, that experience was just unlike anything else I've gone to. I feel like every Plexus event I've gone to has continued to build more belief into me. Can you hear me? My microphone is a little bit broken, so I just want to make sure you can hear me. Okay. You know, Leaders Retreat was the first event I ever went to last year, and I was blown away. And I actually got a chance to have a phone call with our CFO like 2 weeks ago, and he told me the story about how he was once in a meeting where they said, you know, we could probably cut back our spending on these events. And he was like, no. He remembered his first convention in Dallas when he walked in the room and he saw the energy in the room of all of these fired up ambassadors. And he was like, that is because of what we put into this. We are not limiting our spending. And you guys, if you haven't been to a Plexus event, they go all out. Leaders Retreat, convention. I'm sure Maui is going to be no different. You know, they really, really pour into us. So Leaders Retreat last year was my first event. And then I went to convention this year. And once again, just like filled me, just like, I can't believe that something like this is really real. And then to go to the home office and see that there's actually a real place behind what we talk about was like, oh, it's totally real. Like there's offices, people work here. It was really, really cool. Like a really cool experience. And then on top of that, to be poured into by some of the top diamonds, the coolest part is Brenda, Helen, and Sonia, and Sheila, all of them but one are in our direct upline. So that was really cool to learn from our moms and grandmas, you know, like figuratively. Especially being under Sheila Medina, you guys, she's the first diamond in Plexus. I mean, we got to learn the history of Plexus, where when Plexus Slim first came out, they sent her a blank packet. It was just a white packet full of powder. She didn't know what was in it. She didn't care. She just said, I'll try it. And little by little, she stopped snacking, and she noticed that she was sleeping better because she started dreaming again. She hadn't dreamed in years. And just like those little things that she was writing down, she was like, all right, you guys, what's in this? Because this is crazy. Her friends started to notice that she was losing weight and her mood had changed, all these things. She didn't know what was in it. They just said, hey, we have this stuff. Why don't you try it? And she's like, all right. And it totally changed her life. And that's how Slim was born. So even just to learn those things, she showed us a picture of the packet too. It was seriously just a blank little picture Slim, just completely white. Nothing written on it. It's just like a magic potion. Here, try this. And she did. So that was just really, really fun. I have another really fun, quick story that Sheila shared before, then we can go into our takeaways and stuff. But
Brittany,
she said, what?
Just really quick, because I mentioned to Brenda, 5 or 10 minutes. So I don't know what she has going on tonight, but I just want to say thank you for coming on, popping on with us. You're always welcome to stay. But if you need to run, we understand too.
Yeah, I would love to say, listen, I'm so enjoying this, but I told the family it wouldn't be long and I'd come back and join them, so I probably should go. But I'm glad you're recording it because maybe I can listen to it later then.
Yes.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
Brenda.
much. Have a great
Love you guys.
day.
Bye now.
So one quick other thing that Sheila shared was, when they first started the company, they were like, Alec and Taro came to her because she kind of basically built Plexus with them. She was kind of their guinea pig. And they asked her, do you think we should do a car program? Like, I don't know if we should. And she was like, no, you guys totally got to do a car program. People love it. And they're like, okay, we'll think about it. So they came to her and they called her a few weeks later. Get this, you guys. Sheila Medina saved the day, okay? They called her and they're like, we got it. We figured out what we're going to do and they're going to love it. Our car program is going to be Ford Tauruses. Could you imagine if you worked your booty off to get to Emerald for a Ford Taurus? I mean, no offense if you have a Ford Taurus, but I know I would not be super excited to earn a Ford Taurus. And so then she was like, yeah, I don't think that's what I was really thinking about. And so then she was like, hey, what about Plexus Lexus? It kind of has a cute ring to it. So they looked into it and then they signed off on it. But we almost had Ford Tauruses.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So those were some really fun things. Just fun to hear the history of Plexus that you don't get to hear, any other place from Sheila Medina, who helped build Plexus basically. So, okay. So Bridget, should we talk about our top 3 a few of our takeaways? Because we learned so much. It's kind of hard to pack into one Zoom. We can talk about some of our top takeaways and then just a little bit more of the experience.
Yep.
So,
sounds good.
So the first thing, I'll start with one. We can kind of go back and forth.
Yep.
The first thing that I think that you guys will all appreciate, because it's very simple, is to never underestimate your why or your team's why. I think that sometimes we talk about like, hey, why are you doing this? Or, definitely know your why. And then we forget them. And we forget that they can change and they grow with us. But that is the foundation of all of us, why all of us are doing it. If we didn't have our why and if our why didn't grow, we wouldn't be doing this. So just to kind of like give a visual of how important this is, at our training, they had all of us stand up individually and share our why. And you guys, out of 12, there's 12 of us, right? 11 or 12. There was not a dry eye in the room anytime somebody shared their why. Anytime. Every single time there were tears. And that is why they say your why needs to make you cry, because it needs to be so big that it's what gets you, because we are not going to feel like doing this every day. And I'm sure you guys know that. But when you realize why you're doing it, it doesn't matter. I don't know if you guys have ever heard Rosalind Payne share her why before. This was the second time I got to hear it. She shared it at convention in one of the trainings. But so Rosalind Payne is a level 1 of Celeste Gwen, which we all know who that is. And when Celeste came to her and she said, do this business with me, she didn't want to. She was terrified of what people would think of her. And so she said, no. In the background, she had her son who was struggling with autism. And it's a very kind of long story, but basically she kind of had this light bulb moment because she saw all of her friends that Celeste was recruiting making all of this money. And then in a split second, she thought, what if this could pay for her son's therapy? Because they had gone to a specialist and they had found out that the therapy he needed was $1,000 a month. And they couldn't even afford a couple $100 a month extra, let alone $1,000 a month. And she thought, if this could help my son, I do not care what people think. And that was her why. Her why fueled her past all of her fears. And it just shows how important your why is. So one of the main things they told us about our whys is, 1, make sure you know what yours is at all times and always check it to see if it's changed or grown. And also, even if you have to write it down, know the whys of your team. If you know the why of your team, you can help them stay focused on their business too. Because instead of saying, hey, have you checked in on that person or that person? You'd be like, hey, how's Susie doing? I know that her kids are in private school and she was struggling to pay for it, and that's why she was doing it. Do you know if she's gotten any customers or ambassadors, or do you know how she's doing with paying those bills? Because when you know their whys, you can help them. And this is what we're all about, is helping people. So that was one of the biggest things. And it honestly is one of the most simplest things that sometimes we forget about. But don't forget your why and always know your team's why.
Mm.
Your turn.
You just stole mine. No, I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
well, you can elaborate on it because it was a really big one.
I'm just kidding. I mean, you nailed it. You totally nailed it. You guys, yeah, that affected all of us in that class. And here we are, just all emeralds. And so we've gotten to this place, right? And we're continuing to work forward. But every single person I talked to said, oh my goodness, this makes so much sense. And so what I want to mention to you guys right now, my computer's doing something weird. Tell me if you can still see all of us. Is that if you feel stuck, if you don't feel really inspired right now, if you can sense like, oh, I'm getting complacent, or I've been complacent, or I feel like getting complacent, or if you feel like you're facing a lot of attrition to, a lot of times we can actually point back to the fact that our why isn't continually evolving. My first month, my big why was like, oh my goodness, I wonder if I can make $1,000 extra a month. And I could like really buffer our grocery budget, and we wouldn't be like so pinched, like so paycheck to paycheck, Guys, that happened that first month. And so it was like, oh my goodness, do I need to make another why? And so it's grown from there. And even, sitting there talking to Brittany was interesting. My why grew so much bigger. Like just walking down the hallway with Brittany, I'm like, I have got to retire my husband from the military. I do not want him vaccinated. Oh, one more time. Like, that's it. Something hit me and I just went, ooh, that fires me up. Like, that gets me passionate. That makes me want to get up every day and work a little harder. So finding what inspires you isn't going to be what inspires me, but you've got to dig deep and find that, okay? It's so important. But on to the next thing. So, part of your why, it all is going to come down to our mindset, right? And Brenda actually, I think she was, right, Brent? She was in charge of talking about, I think her thing was called Thinking Matters. Yeah. And how your mindset, and we hear it all the time, right? Alexis, your mindset, will either make you or break you. She was sharing how fear actually activates 300 different hormones in our body. It like literally takes over every cell. So we have to know how to deal with fear and combat it. Many of us here are probably Christians on the stage, some of us maybe not, but no matter what, if we have an uncontrolled thought life, whether it be a bent towards negativity or whatever, it will destroy us and our businesses. So our brains will believe what we feed it and what we tell it. So something to ponder tonight. Maybe you're taking notes, maybe not, no worries, but be really self-aware. Like, what are you saying to yourself all day long? What have others said about you over the years? I'm talking teachers, parents, brothers, sisters, peers, even spouses, right? And then who are you associating with or spending the most of your time with? Are they super negative? Where's their mindset? What's coming out of their mouth? So I love that at this training, they were pouring into us as people, not just us and our businesses. They basically said, the quality of our lives depend upon two things. Communication within ourselves and communication outside of myself. So be aware what's coming out of our mouth, be aware what's going in our mindset, and pour in the good stuff, because it isn't going to happen naturally. That's just as important as working your IPAs is pouring into your mind, thinking on truth. And us uplines, we are here to help with that. If you feel like fears are coming up in my mind right now, I know what I'm most afraid of, or I know what I tell myself, oh my goodness, I'm going to deal with that. We're here to help you. We got some training on coaching and just helping people, move through those things. Lots of victory ahead.
And then kind of along with that, another thing we talked a lot about, that was another thing Brenda touched on, is how important gratitude is. To constantly, if you have the inclination to complain, which is really easy to do because not everything always goes our way in this business, think of what you're grateful for. If you have to write it down, you should write it down, right? Write down the things that you're grateful for every single day when you feel like you want to complain, because your mind and your spirit and your attitude will get turned around so quickly when you focus on the things that you're grateful for. And with that, take action. Message your upline, your downline, and thank them for how amazing they are, because your downline is what got you to where you are, and your upline gives you the support that you need. And so to always don't assume that they know that you're grateful for them. Tell them like how much they mean to you. Send them a handwritten card, post about them on Facebook, send them just a little voice message really quickly. It's really, really easy, and it goes a really long way just to feel valued and validated for everything that we do. We talked about recognition and gifts, and you don't have to break the bank, but if you have a new silver or gold, send them a handwritten card and a gift and say, hey, I'm so proud of you, and I'm so thankful to have you on my team. Way to go. That would mean so much to the person. Who doesn't love getting mail? Little things like that, recognition posts. If you have someone who has sponsored 3 ambassadors, on our team we call it ALA, Active Leader Achiever, we do a shout out post for them like, hey, you're rocking your business. Sponsoring 3 a month, that's the consistency you need to get to the top. Way to go. We most oftentimes have double and triple ALA posts because our team just is a recruiting machine, and it's so fun, but it's so fun to see those posts. When someone signs their first ambassador, give them a shout out. If you just see someone doing a really good job, make it known. One of my business love languages is recognition. And I don't love it about myself, but it's not a bad thing. I love it when people see how hard I work and that they say, you're doing a good job, because I work really hard and it feels really good to be seen, and not everybody's like that. And so if you are not like that, and that is not your business love language, it might be one of your level ones. It might mean the world to them. And even if it doesn't come naturally to you to make a post about them, do it anyways, because I guarantee it could make or break them. It could be huge. And I can say that firsthand. I know how important it is to me. So just take the extra step to do a shout out, even like if it's public, private, whatever. Public is probably better, but gifts, recognition, gratitude, those were all some really, really important things we talked about. What else?
The gratitude thing. Just thinking about, when you guys go into your back office, which don't be scared of your back office. I mean,
I read something one time about how people view their back office like their bank account.
Yeah.
Because they're too scared to go in and look and see where it's at. Yeah. And if you don't look, it's going to be a mess. So Go ahead. That was funny.
Yes, exactly. But what do? We go, I don't want to see because somebody might get blocked off, or then what? I just won't look. I'll just let it take care of itself. You guys, you're all missing the point. The point is to go in with a grateful heart. And this is a picture that I recently heard from somebody, but I feel like this is, for tonight. It's kind of like this. You make a batch of homemade chocolate chip cookies for your kids, okay? And one of your kids comes in and just like steals 3 right away off the cookie tray and just like shoves it in their mouths. And they're like, I want more, And you're like, oh, okay, honey. Okay. But then later on, another child comes in and they're like, oh, Mama, you made chocolate chip cookies. Can I have one? And you're like, oh, sure, honey. You give them one and they're like, thank you so much. This is so yummy. You can just tell they're so grateful. Here's the deal. When we go into our back office and we are not grateful for what is there, and we do not take in, the abundance that we have been given, it is like a slap in the face. It's a slap in the face to God, to our company, everything. Now, remember, when we go into our back offices, that can also show us a mirror of maybe where we're lacking. Don't be afraid of looking into that mirror and reach out for help, because there's always a solution. There's always a solution. And it's not always you, but go there with a grateful heart. And if you don't know where to go to even look for what you need to look for, that's something too. Ask me, ask an upline and say, can you just get me on a Zoom and screen share and point out where I should be looking every month? And go down and look at those people who ordered, and you know what? Send them messages. All the people that ordered, kind of like what Brittany said, and shoot them a message saying, thank you so much for trusting me and my family and being on my team. What a blessing. Is there anything I can do for you today? Use it as a connection time, as a time of gratitude. So that was very random, but
no, that was so good.
It was a must.
With that too, this is not something we learned, but one thing that I try to tell my team too, and it's so hard, when your team grows so quickly, But the people that you sign up and that trust you, the ambassadors that you earn, I have a friend who uses that term and I love it. She says, we earned this many ambassadors instead of we added. I really, really love that because you did. You earned their trust and you earned them onto your team. If we don't, I mean, not everyone's going to put a subscription on. I get that. But if we don't try to get their subscription on, if we don't coach them, the hard truth is that we might as well have not signed them up in the first place because the chances of them sticking around is slim to none. They're not going to reorder when they're in the middle of detox. So, yeah, I think that just being really smart and intentional in the ambassadors that you earn, you know, I feel like I'm fumbling over my words of what I'm trying to say. Does that make sense?
Oh, no, that was very clear. Everybody's
okay.
Like,
okay.
I love the wording for that these are ambassadors that we've earned.
We earned them.
We've spent time with them. We've invested in them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's good and so convicting. Well, do you have anything else? I have one more thing.
Go ahead. Close it up.
You guys have heard it, but you know, it's all about belief in this company. And when I first heard that, I was like, oh, belief. Of course I have belief. I'm just going to work this and make it happen. But you guys, belief is everything. And you know, what are we told? The 4 pillars of belief are really important to have established in you, because if they're not, if there's a hole in one of those 4 beliefs, you will find yourself faltering and worried and a lot more fearful when you approach people. And it's just the way it is. So the 4 pillars of belief for Plexus are belief in the products. If you're struggling with belief in the products, go read a bunch of testimonies, okay? Go look in your shareables in your back office and learn a little bit more about the products. Go to your upline always, and they can pour fresh belief into you. And if that upline is new, go to your next upline and next upline, okay? The next pillar of belief that's imperative, that mine just like skyrocketed, and I think Brittany's did too this last week, was belief in the company, that they have your best in mind. You guys, we were sitting on, right? Was it in Alex's office that we were sitting on his couch together, or was Charles?
Charles. It was Charles' office.
Yeah, our CEO. And he was like, okay, what are your concerns? And we're like,
and then he actually pulled out a notepad and took notes of things that we brought up to him. He cared.
Yeah, he totally cared. And he was like, oh, we're working on that subscription thing. Oh, we're working on these subscription things. Like, you guys, they just want to be more and more caring and generous to you ambassadors. They just want to pour it right on back, okay? But if you're feeling, you know, low in your belief in this company, it's going to definitely affect how you share the business and how you step out and share the products, right? Next one, the compensation plan. Around month 3, I was like, I want to understand the compensation plan. You guys, when Taro bought this company in 2008, it used to be a binary compensation plan. Don't even worry about that, what that means, but it's not very fair, and you're not going to go very far with that. They made it into this hybrid compensation plan that is genius, and I've never seen another one like that. And I dare you to find another one. Because so far, I go to my network marketing friends today, Roden Fields. I was like, oh, I'd love to see your comp plan. How much do you get paid for every 10 people you bring in, you know? And she was like, what is going on? So it's pretty amazing. And the last one, belief in yourself. So if you have a hole in any one of these areas, you're going to find yourself feeling like you're faltering. And we all go through seasons where we need to pour back into ourselves that belief. And for me, I found a little bit of a hole of belief in myself this last week that I was surprised to find. I was like, you have never questioned yourself in this. You're just like, I'm going to do what it takes to make it happen. But it was so good to identify it, talk to some sidelines, talk to some uplines, and be like, oh, I do have what it takes. Let's go, you know?
Really quickly, along with that, I remember at convention in one of the trainings, Celeste Gwynn got up and she talked about, and okay, this is no surprise, the first double diamond who makes the most insane amount of money in our company. When she decided to go for the business, she showed her the comp plan, I think, to her brother and her husband. And she said, hey, look at this. Do you think it's good? And as soon as they said yes, she was like, all right, I'm going to be a diamond. And they're like, we know. She knew it from the very beginning. And that is what set her apart. She went into this saying, I'm going to be a diamond. And she's done it twice. So believing in yourself, if that speaks any volumes to you of how important that is, it's pretty important.
Yeah. And Brittany and I know that each one of you here, I'm like scrolling down this list. You guys, each one of you guys are going to do this. And you will be at that leadership excellence training and be blown away, just like we were sitting down on that couch with Tara Robinson going, how did I get here? Why is everybody so sweet? You guys, this is just the beginning. I mean, it was a beautiful building, but you know what I thought to myself? I thought, this is a $600 million company. They project to be $1 billion company within the next couple of years. And they just don't project it like, it was okay, nice. It's not a dream. It's a plan. The steps are in action. And we're just like, woo, moving so fast. So thank you for believing in this company and trusting us. You're going to see some bumps in the road because we're literally ground level. Mm-hmm. Not everybody's heard about Plexus. We're this big still. We've got a ways to go.
Mm-hmm. Which is also crazy that we're a $600 million and growing company when we're not even completely throughout the United States yet and barely in 3 other countries. Like that's not, I don't know. Who was it? Was it the CFO who talked about that? That is unheard of to be at that level and in that little, like that small amount of the world. So that's huge.
That's exactly Steve Howard. He said number 39 in all of the world in direct selling, and we're only really solidly in 2 countries. Mm-hmm. And like in how many states?
Not even half, I don't think.
It was like we're in 17 states in the United States.
I mean, there's ambassadors in almost all the states, but it's not like saturated in all the states.
No, nowhere near to being saturated. Pretty awesome. Kind of last thing on my mind, do you have like a last little quote you want to leave or?
I have nothing. I don't think so. That was everything that I was thinking. It was we're going to keep thinking of more and more to share with you over time because you guys, it was a lot to pack into a few days. We left feeling so like full, but like, where do we even start to process? Because it was just so much goodness that we were so blessed to be poured into. But that's a pretty good start. I'm sure we'll come to you with more, but I guess those were the top things that really stuck with us.
Yep, absolutely. You guys, the last thing Steve Howard said when he left us, that's our chief financial officer, you guys would love. He said, he's very like chill and kind of like, I don't know, he's just more of a super calm, chill person. And I don't know if it was like before lunch or something, but all of us were getting kind of drowsy. We're talking about financial stuff. So I'm like, ooh. But he said this, and this woke me up right away. He said, our ambassadors give us everything they've got. So why wouldn't we give them everything too?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So have a great night, you guys. You're an amazing company. You guys are all an amazing team. So fun to work with you.
Bye, guys.
Have a good night, guys.
Thank you. Awesome.